Hi, and welcome to the Balanced Body podcast series. I'm Carrie Reese-Stemler from Paragon Pilates and Physical Therapy in Minneapolis. One of the things that we focus on specifically in our studio is dance medicine. And I'm going to be talking about several topics that address working with the dancer. And myself, I've been a dancer my whole life and danced professionally for 12 years. And in that time, while I was dancing professionally, I was introduced to Pilates. And within the work of Pilates, learning the stability and the strength behind specific movements, I became stronger as a dancer. So in working with the dance population, I'm focusing on injury prevention and helping to build specific strength and stability for the dancer. What happens a lot of times is that we're really good at making the picture happen. We're really good at the high battement or the big rond de jambe or the big arabesque, but at what expense? So what happens is that dancers, a high percentage of injury comes from overuse and overstress injury. So what we're working on with injury prevention is pelvic stability, hip differentiation. We're strengthening the hamstrings and stretching the hip flexors. From all those battements and rond de jambes and so forth, the hip flexors get overused and really tight, and we want to balance that with the strength of the hamstring. The other thing that happens is the lateral quads and the IT bands get really tight, so we're going to want to stretch and open up those, maybe rolling on the foam roller or just some good lateral quad stretches, and actually strengthen the inner leg and the VMO. The other thing I see is dancers oftentimes have tight low backs from maybe too high of an arabesque behind you and really overusing the back musculature. We want to balance that with core strength and stability. The other thing I see is rib popping. So the ribs flare out, the back arches, again to get that big range of motion, and we really want to control that and have a strong core and a strong center. And then maybe the range of motion gets a little bit limited, but that's better than causing an overuse injury. Some other things you want to focus on when working with dancers is foot and ankle strength. A lot of times I see instability in the ankle or instability in the foot, maybe pronation or supination of the feet happening, and you really want to work through a neutral foot and a neutral ankle and build that strength, especially if you have dancers going up on point. Dancers are really hard workers. They can take in a lot of information. They're used to working hard and they're used to working that specificity. So they really appreciate the specificity of the Pilates work and can take in a lot of information. Things we want to focus on are working whole body integration exercises and trying to kind of mimic some of the things that they might be doing in performance, working single leg as well as double leg. So unilateral and bilateral work is very important because of the balance element in dancers, having to balance for turns and penchés, going from standing to maybe rolling on the floor. There's a lot of different positions that the body goes into. Dancers are oftentimes working in a turned out position, and sometimes that turnout comes from an improper place. Maybe it comes from anterior tilting the pelvis or torquing on the knee. So we're really going to want to work on the deep six rotators and strengthening the external rotators of the hip, getting that true external rotation from the femur happening. We also want to work glute med strength. So oftentimes in dancers, the glute max is very strong and the quadriceps and the hip flexors are really strong. But what is not so strong typically is the glute medius. So we really want to focus on that hip strength, again, to increase the pelvic stability and get a more true range of motion. So stay tuned for the podcast on these topics, and we'll see you soon.